Hey, what is up everyone, and welcome back to another Animous tool review, and today we are going to be reviewing the DSPIAE T1 Pro Glutton Sanding Dust Collector.
So some of you had asked me, what do I use to keep my, the quality of life of one might say, or builder quality life as one might say, when it comes to like cleanup or building or sanding resin, sanding parts. Well, the options for these are getting something called dust collectors. Right now, this is one of many. There are others out there in the market. Like you have the Hobby Mio one, and you also can buy some other dust collectors that are pretty big, and their cost is way up there when it comes to them. What that has to do with, like, having HEPA filters and all that, and also they'll have other filters like to get like carbon filters and all that stuff, right? So DSPIAE did release this Glutton for that same purpose for builders, but there are other options out there. Don't just feel that this is the only option out there for you. So this one right here, we got it from our friends over at Burbank's House of Hobby, so shout out to them. One of the good things that I loved about this dust collector in itself, I had a friend that had one in his home, and it was the actual suction power that this had. So we're going to go ahead and unbox it and then go from there and see what it brings inside. So for the box itself, this is a really big box, and it comes in a really big box because it is a big unit, and it also brings other goodies inside that we will go through one by one before we go into the actual review. Biggest thing that it has a feature where it has like RGBs, which I don't really care either or. It's just a tool, but for those of you that like aesthetics, this is definitely a nice tool to have. For the actual features of this tool, it does bring other things inside. It brings a Glutton, it brings a dust removal cloth, the user manual. It does have a dust brush for whenever you're trying to clean the interior or clean the teeth or the actual casing for it. It does have the power adapter, and it does have a socket converters. Now that is very important for those of you that are wondering if maybe it's just US or if you can get it somewhere else. Not only you can get it somewhere else, but you can also take it anywhere you want, because it does have socket converter. So for the DSPIAE, for this DSPIAE one, it does contain a high efficiency HEPA filter. Now these filters you can either clean, or depending if you're working on resin, you might want to replace them. They do sell replacements, and they're usually very accessible from what I've seen. So that's actually really good. You can take it apart whenever you're going to clean it, which that is an actual really big plus. So that way you can go ahead and make sure that your filter's always clean and it doesn't get clogged and strain the motor and all that stuff. So DSPIAE Hub will be for your app, and changing your colors, connected to your device, and customize your lighting and all that. So I did have another dust collector, but not too long ago I had to throw it out because it was old, and it was one of these big bulky ones that I was using when I was working with resin, because I also 3D print. So I'm actually glad that we were able to get one of these for the channel. All right, so the box does actually have a couple of things inside, so we're going to go through them one by one. So the first thing that you're met with is going to be your manual. Once you open up your manual, will have all the instructions, to include how to take off your parts and everything. Thankfully, they did include your instructions in English as well. At least we have it in English there. They also include a lot of decals in case you want to use them or put them anywhere else, or maybe decorate your Glutton if that's the case. Myself, I don't really like using decals that much, so I'll just go ahead and throw them to the side there. But it's really cool. It even shows you the examples and the distance that you should go ahead and sand for this product. It shows you how to use all your adapters. It shows you, again, everything that comes inside the box, and it gives you a step-by-step instructions on how to maintain and clean your Glutton. That's actually pretty useful. So let's go ahead and set this aside. So here we got some goodies. So you have all the power adapters, which I will definitely not use. I see something else in here. What is this? Oh, so this is very funny. So you guys want to see something very funny? So they included a brush to clean your Glutton, right? Now I'm sure this is just a generic brush, but does this brush seem familiar to you guys? So even though it looks like a generic brush, it is the same gum primer brush, which is very funny because now I know that gum primer's brush is also a generic thing that they just slap their sticker on. That's very disappointing. But it is a Yeah, it is just a generic brush. I'm fairly disappointed by that. So moving on from that, you do have your fan, which it will be for cleanup for your Glutton itself. You do have all the AC adapters, which I'm guessing I will store because I'm in the US right now, so I don't really need it. Actually, I see one here that I might have to use because it seems like that. So let's take a look. So this is the AC adapter here. Oh, so you do have to put in a adapter. So since I'm in the US, we'll go ahead and put in the US spec. All right, perfect. And I'll be able to use the Glutton itself. So depending on where you live, for those viewers that I might have maybe from overseas or anything like that, it does have adapters depending on where you live. So all you got to do is go ahead and click the adapter that you're using, and good to go. If you need to switch it, you're going to go ahead and press the little button here, twist it, take the cap off, put the adapter that pertains to your specific country, and then you're going to go ahead and place it there. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next thing. So this might be the microfiber cloth. I don't want to open it because I don't want to get any static or any dirt or any grime or anything on it. So I'm just going to leave it right there. So let's go ahead and move this and to the side here. And now for the main event. So this is actually the Glutton, and this is a hefty boy. I'm going to say right now that aesthetically it looks really, really nice. And it does seem like it has a touch feature for the buttons, which is actually really nice too. I can already see the HEPA filter in the back, which is also really nice. I will go ahead and take it apart so I can show you guys everything. So you go ahead and take out the back grid there. And it's printed in like a smoke clear plastic, which actually adds really nice to the aesthetics. So what you're going to do is that you're going to go ahead and remove this filter back here. And then I'm guessing this filter is replaceable. So all you have to do is take the casing off, which is another black clear part, and then just buy your replacement filter. Now, from someone was telling me that you can also buy a carbon filter or a carbon HEPA filter, which it could be the same size, and then fit it into these. I haven't tried it yet, but I will be sure to try it in the future once mine needs replacement, and then go from there. So you do have the casing for the fan here. Now, I don't recommend anybody to take it off unless you know what you're doing. I myself, I'm not a fan of having to take apart something unless I really need to. But if I notice that the dirt is or plastic or anything are really getting stuck in there, I'll go ahead and open it up and really give it a deep clean and go from there. But if you do not know what you're doing when you're taking off or taking apart technology like this, leave it alone or get somebody that knows how to do it if you feel that it needs a deeper cleaning. Moving out to the front, it does have the casing, which you can go ahead and remove because it does have magnets on each side. So all you have to do is go ahead and set that to the side for cleaning. Same with the aesthetic parts. All you got to do is pop them off, and they pop off to the side. Now for this part right here, all you got to do is go ahead and press it on the sides and take it off. Now be very gentle with these because these teeth will wear out or snap if you do try to force it off. So try not to force them off and be gentle with the part when you're doing it. Now for this part right here, you have to be very careful because it does have a lock from side to side. And then once you twist it open, it'll go ahead and pop up. This will allow you to clean the inside of this and take any residual dust that you see on the design and the fan. Please make sure to be careful not to spray the fan with any chemicals or anything like that, so you don't damage anything or the RGBs. Now the RGBs are set in there, but this allows you space to go ahead and clean around. So let's go ahead and put it together and turn it on and test it. All right, so let's go ahead and plug it in. Okay, that's awesome. So once you plug in, you start getting some lights there. You can actually adjust the brightness of the light, it seems, as well. So you can adjust the brightness of the light by pressing it and leaving it pressed. So if you press it and leave it pressed, it'll go down. And if you press it or leave it pressed, it'll go up. So once you go ahead and go into setup lighting mode, which is by basically going ahead and switching pressing the two buttons on its, for 3 seconds at least, then you can go ahead and switch the type of RGB lights or effect lights, however you want it. Now you might not be able to see it clearly on camera, but you can choose between having a full RGB or you can go ahead and do a spinning wheel RGB or however you want it, and you know, adjust the speed, or if you want to do fading colors, you can do that as well, and then go from there. But for aesthetics in itself, if you want the RGB, it looks really cool, and it'll, you know, it really does not have any effect to your work. It's just aesthetics at this point, but it does look really nice on the table when you are trying to work on it, or if you're trying to record a video or anything like that, or a time lapse, then it will look really nice when you're recording the video. So the same thing is going to be for your fan. So for example, right now when it's plugged in, it'll always have the RGB lighting setting on, and then you can actually set it to where you can have a different color when the fan actually turns on, which is what we're going to do now. All right, perfect. So as you can see, I do have the full RGB on while the actual, you know, fan is off. And then when the fan turns on, I can go ahead and it'll go ahead and change the light effect from there. All right, so as you can see there, that is just the small speed. But then if I decide to raise the speed, it will go ahead and keep getting louder. That's actually not bad. I can actually see, you can actually feel the suction of the fan itself while you're standing in front of it. So I do apologize if it sounded too loud while I was recording for the audio, but I just wanted to make sure that I show you that you can just adjust the fan speed to whatever you deem it necessary. Now, granted, I am probably always going to have it on high since I sand a lot of resin and I sand a lot of parts. So now we're going to go ahead and record and try to test it out and see if it actually does what it's supposed to. Welcome back. So without a doubt, I can definitely say that this test has been a success. Look at all that debris that it collected up on the fan itself, but the real test is going to be in the filter, because one thing is that it collects it there, but it should also be collecting it in the filter. Now I don't see any debris that went out through the back. Let's go ahead and take out the filter and see what it looks like on the inside. So I do see some dust in there. You might not be able to see it on camera because the filter's so white, but it does have a little bit of red debris in there, which is actually very, very convenient, and I'm actually happy that it did work like it was supposed to. Now, granted, I never believe that you should be using your dust collector in a low setting. I always believe that you should be using it in a high setting, mainly if you're working with resin or if you're sending plastic parts or models. So you avoid bringing that dust into your body, right? Now some say, well, Animous, why would I buy something like this and not just use a mask? If all you want to do is, you know, I'm going to be completely honest with you. If you want to go ahead and buy a mask or anything of the sort for yourself, then you can go ahead and do so. I mean, it's completely up to you. Yes, if you do get a mask and you know, you don't get one of these, but you still sand, of course, you won't bring those dust particles right away into your body, but all those dust particles are going to be spread out to your work area, and when you're cleaning, you're not wearing your mask, of course, so you're still lifting up that dust and bringing it in your body. Myself, I use a mask when I sand, but I also use my dust collector, and you know, this is the fastest and most convenient way to sand your parts and collect all the dust. This is perfect for people that have resin kits and like to work on resin conversion kits, because you can just sand away without any repercussions or any worry about getting any of that dust into your body. and this is just perfect. I could definitely say that I am satisfied with this dust collector. Granted, there are others out there on the market. It might be a little bit cheaper or a little bit more affordable than this one, but this one's still in a good price range when it comes to dust collectors, considering that you can also get universal filters for it. And that is it for today's video. If you do have one of these, how's it been working out for you? You know, I am definitely going to keep using this, especially now that we're going on the channel. We're going to start with 3D printing, and we're going to start doing resin conversions in the channel as well. Once we line up the low with that Sky Defender and the 160 new, we're definitely going to bring some new stuff here to the channel soon. And I am very happy that I'm able to add this one, considering to my tool set now that, you know, my other one, you know, passed on to another life. And if you do have a dust collector, you know, do you have a different one? Put it in the comments. Let me know which one it is. Maybe I'll go ahead and take a look at it. Maybe bring it in here to the channel for review, and then we'll go from there. I don't know. Maybe in the future we can do a dust collector showdown to see which one reigns on top of the other one. So let me know in the comments if you have other dust collectors, and we'll go ahead and put them on the list and go from there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.